Hey, what's up, guys? I decided to make another video, this time on Overlord Season 3. Just finished it maybe 20 minutes ago. I think it was really good. I think, looking back, I was really harsh on Season 2 with it just not progressing the plot. But, like, I just want to make it 100% clear even before I start. Like, it was still a really good season. I just, like, looking back, I was like, oh shit, nothing really happened. But this season was very different, I think. I think a lot of stuff moved forward finally. Um, and I think it was probably, I don't know if it's my favorite season, but it's really good. And just seeing Hines like finally make his moves and shit, and like okay, his plans are coming together and um all that. I mean, I wish like they showed more of like his strategic side because sometimes he does have good plans. But like a lot of the time, it's like he's just like, oh, Demiurge like thinks I had a plan, so he's like, oh, tell me what you thought my plan was, explain it to everyone else. And that makes him feel a little like stupid. Like as something I think he should be like, this kind of like not mastermind, but like, where he plans a lot. Like and they do have some of that, so that's pretty cool. We get some more of the side characters this season. I guess they're kind of like main characters, especially the night. Uh, well, no, we get a few of them returning. What I was noticing is last season. Now I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. Last season, the people from that small village, I forget the name of, the potion guy and the girl, who becomes the chief this season. They weren't in last season at all, and then in this season, um, the adventurers weren't in this season. The ones like from the end of season two, like Red Eye, Evil Eye, and like her group, whatever. So we didn't see any of them. I just That's just something I thought about and noticed, but it really doesn't matter that much because I don't know. I don't really care about any of them that much. I mean, I like the big girl. She's funny. But I don't hate them or really like them that much. Especially Evil Eye. Like she's just kind of like meh. Like another girl's like super interested in Maman. It's like okay, cool. But yeah. So this season went far. I think I was watching the first few episodes. I'm like, oh great, this is gonna be another one. Like, I want some plot to go forward, and it went from like it's basically just like the girl becoming the chief of the village, and there was like a whole episode, and I swear to like I could be like wrong, like really wrong with this, but it was like Ainz doesn't even show up in that episode, or like he barely does, or something. I forget, but it was like I was like, oh great, so now we're just gonna get like a ton of arc with this. But it was still good, like I said, but that didn't end up being the case for the season. We ended up getting a lot more. We see Ainz get brutal as fuck this season. He's had his moments, um, but especially like it's different because these people didn't deserve it. Was that one fucking like the group of adventurers and shit when he tricks them? He doesn't trick them. Like he just I don't know. He allows them to come into Nazarick, which I think it's the fake Nazarick if I remember correctly. Um, to investigate, and they think that they're gonna get like gold and stuff, and it's all just to like kill them all so he can finally reveal himself. And he's killing all the adventurers, and I'm like, most of them, of course, you don't care about, but they do the thing they did with the lizard people, where there's this one group, and you really like this one group, and you don't want anything to happen to them, and this girl's like raising her sister because her family is like broke and um like I don't know, like she's about to take her younger sisters and raise them on her own, and this is her last mission, and it's like, oh fuck, like you kind of like because I thought they were gonna pull another lizard men thing, but they did not, and they had eyes go savage mode on them. They had that moment where you're like, oh, like because they keep going, like they keep pushing like towards the end where they're like, oh, you're a great team, like your allies were your comrades were like this too, right? And he's like, yeah, we were. But then it's like, so you think he's gonna have some kind of like empathy, but he just doesn't. That girl leaves. He's like, oh, I'll give her empathy. Yeah, I'll let her go. Well, no, like he says something like that, alludes like to maybe letting her go, and then he's like, okay, Shaltier, come here, go kill her, like destroy any hope she has, and then kill her. And it was like, but make her death painless. Like, that shit was crazy. Like, the worst part, though, was the little sisters at the end. That was so unnecessary. It's so just, like, some bullshit to pull that card of, like, oh, sisters gonna come home soon. When it... Bruh, you did not need to do that shit. Like, that was foul as fuck. You know, like I said, when I'm just savage to people like that deserve it, you're like, okay. Like, when he crushed that bitch to death in season 1, that was one of the most satisfying moments, like I don't know, in the show or whatever, but just that shit was like refreshing. But then you see some shit like this, you're like, like, you know, he's not a hero, like he's no hero, but to like actually like, and even like killing all those guys, you know, he says like, oh, it wasn't my plan, it was Demiurge's plan. Which, you know, like most of them, once again, the adventures I really didn't give two shits about because they didn't want you to really, like, you know, they had that one asshole adventurer guy, which, you know, you gotta have one of those. You knew his death was gonna be crazy, but him fighting Hamusuke was fucking like cool because you didn't see Hamusuke do much last season, I don't think, and you haven't really seen Hamusuke actually fight, so it was pretty cool seeing that. You see the lizard men kind of watching him, they're kind of teaching him to be a warrior, so that was pretty cool. But you know, and then they kill him, and then all those women who he's basically abusing like are spitting on his fucking corpse and shit. Which I wonder what happened to them. I guess they just killed him, but I don't know. That was like a little weird. Where I thought like maybe they do something with him, and maybe they do, but yeah. But literally the only one you really care about is that one group, and just like the whole like thing. Where you're like, fuck, dude. And that one guy, I forget who the fuck. He was the old guy, right? If I remember correctly. Um, like the priest guy who like gets like, they're like, oh, I was, you know, and there's a slime fucking monster torturer thing. It was like, oh yeah, my creator had what is kidney stones, and and he gave me this to replicate it, and it's like this fucking little spike thing. It's like, you know, obviously you know where the fuck that's going, in the dude's dick, and I'm like, damn, that is crazy. I mean, they don't show it, but the slime thing is like creepy as fuck. Talking about that, everything's like gonna torture him and do all that. It's like, and you just like see him like chained up, whatever. And you're like, it was like, that shit was crazy as well. Like, I was not expecting that. Um, they slowly reveal like a lot more of Ainz's like how big his place really is. Um, like with something like the cafeteria, or like, which you kind of knew about. You knew that they had like some type of food thing going on. But there was another one. I'm trying to think of what it was, but there was something that they revealed that they had there, and I was like, huh, that's kind of interesting that they would have that. Like, that seems like a, what the fuck was it? It was something where it was like, I can't remember, but it was something that's like, huh, I don't know if you'd really have that in a guild, you know, in a game, but I can't remember exactly what it was. I mean, there was like I'm not talking about the bathtub thing either from episode 1, I think it is. Um, man, I really can't remember, but yeah, so that was fucking crazy. That was probably like, that was insane. And then that's how he reveals himself. And then things would go really fast from there, and you're constantly reminded of how little these fucking people matter. Now, this is one complaint I had for last season, is Ainz didn't do shit. Not really. You know, which, once again, when you're the leader, you delegate tasks. Like, you don't do all the shit yourself. So that makes sense. But it's like, you know, when you see all these strong people kicking ass and doing all this shit and showing how, like, every other character is weak compared to, you know, Ainz's crew, it's like, you know, it's like you want to see Ainz do some stuff as well. And this season, they give you that. And especially, like, you know, when he finally reveals himself and he's like, oh, you know, bring the prince over here, whatever, which the king, I mean, the blood king, I think his name is, or something like that. He wasn't the first son that I thought from the other kingdom. I can't remember the different names, but he's the leader of the other kingdom, so that was pretty cool. I love when shows tell you something and then you forget, and then you bring it back up and it's like, oh shit, yeah, you did picture that. And I'm talking about that with the wizard guy, with the blood prince or whatever. You know, when he first finds out, he's like, huh, why did he not want to stay there and study the magic and all that? Oh, he betrayed me, because then you see earlier, like, they're like, oh, my mom wants to meet you. He's like, oh, you know, this like, and then that's it, and you like forget about it. I love when shows do that because it's like it, they get you interested in something else. You're like, oh yeah, okay, and then they bring it back. It's just so cool. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. They have all these plans for like killing, getting rid of Ainz now that they know that he's there. Because he's super powerful, and that shit kind of annoys me. Like, I mean, they don't know how powerful he is, but once again, like from their side, it's like they're not good guys, but they're not like like evil for the sake of being evil. Like they do what they think they need to do, no more, no less, basically. If it wasn't Ainz leading the helm, maybe it would be different because some of these fucking ones are like psychopaths, but they are and they do, so it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know. Like, things that the other characters don't know, so that sometimes makes things annoying with the choices they make and what they decide to do. But yeah, that was kind of crazy. Where they keep talking about like, oh, we're gonna revolt against him. We're gonna get all of our countries to team up and do all that, and and everything like that. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But when and then you think like, oh, are they gonna actually do something with this? Like, where Ainz is gonna come up against a genuine threat? Like, that would be something interesting to see. But I kind of don't want to see that. Like, I want to see this still like, he is the Overlord. Like, he's above everyone else. And I'm sure there's gonna be like some player out there. There has to be, after how much like they're teasing it. But other than that, like, I don't want the countries to gang up on him and be able to like take him down. It's like they're only focusing on Ainz as like a big player, which like every single one of his people is like stronger than, I don't know, at least like, I don't know, like if they're as strong as Gazif, whatever, or whatnot, but they're strong, like, so they could take out a lot of people, and they're only focusing on him. And then so like I said, they start revealing this in secret, but then it's like revealed that they already know that that's what they're planning, and they're planning ahead for that. And it's like, okay, reveal your biggest magic spell, so we can learn how strong you are and find a weakness. And he kills 70,000 fucking people. That shit was crazy, dude. And then kind of at the end, they're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Like, it seems like they've kind of realized they can't do anything. But then when they're like, oh, it's gonna be the end of the future, humanity, all this shit, it's like, once again, things that they don't know, so it's like annoying. It's like, yeah, like if you were in their shoes, you do get it. But like, just from like from the viewer's perspective, you're like, no, he's not just gonna kill all of humanity. He's doing his own thing. He's ruthless, but he does not do shit for no reason. And I really can't think of a reason why he'd like destroy all of humanity. There's no reason for it. So when they're doing that, it's just like I said, like, it's reasonable, like, and it makes sense story wise. It's just like, as a viewer, it gets annoying sometimes, especially for me. I just think that, like, I don't know, I guess I overthink things, but yeah. So that was crazy. But then Gazif dies. Spoiler, whatever. We're 13 minutes in. Been talking spoilers the whole time. That shit was kind of crazy. That was cool. When he said join me, I kind of thought like he might, or like he'd kill him and then bring him back as like an undead servant. But I enjoyed the kind of, it sounded like all these characters connect, because you had Ainz, and then you had, his crew, and then you had the kingdom people, like Climb and Brain. Those names are fucking terrible, by the way. I don't know, like, Climb's bad, but especially Brain, I just fucking hate that. Like, it should have been Brian or something. I don't know, like, it bothers me. But yeah. So Gazif, it's like, oh, I'll challenge you to this duel, and he immediately fucking kills him. At first I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he does the slow-mo thing. I'm like, he's gonna kill him or something, but what does he do? And he just goes like this, and he's like, oh, what is it, like true death or full death or something death, and then the guy dies, and he's like, oh, what I like is also, he says, he doesn't say like, oh, I like the guy. He's like, I didn't dislike the guy. Like, he was he was okay, which I thought was funny. Where instead of like completely respecting him, he's like, you know what, he's all right. But yeah, I don't know. You knew this shit was gonna go downhill from the beginning. As soon as the kingdom wouldn't fucking give over, he ran to hell. It was like, Which, thinking about it, like from a story perspective, once again, it does make sense. It's like, only Gazif is like the one who's like, this guy's insanely strong, don't do this. And they're like, oh, we can't give up this piece of land without doing that. We'll look like bitches, basically. And it's like, yeah, you will, but you'll be alive. And then, you get that, like, yeah, you don't know what you're fucking with when he kills 70,000 people with one spell. And once again, that is just him. That is really just him. None of his subordinates, nothing. Like, so the more I think about it, the less and less likely I feel like it is that the countries will be able to take him down, basically no matter what they do. Because they tease at the end, too, that maybe Gaziv's plan was to show that, like, try to help them find a weakness in Ainz, that they could defeat him in the future to save humanity. Like I said, he's not going to kill humanity, so I'm like, okay. Yeah, but that was something where I was like, that was fucking cool. And I don't even know if it's his most powerful spell. It might be, but I thought it was, because I thought he was gonna be like, oh, that's not my most powerful spell, and that would have been so fucking funny, because they're like, oh, use your most powerful spell as an opener, so that they can find out his weakness, and he's just like, he does that thing where like 70,000 people that drop dead. And then the guy's like, oh, yeah, you thought that, like, and he's acting like, oh, you thought that was the strongest, or the strongest part of the spell, basically. And then it's like, he turns them into all those fucking creepy-ass weird goat things. I call them goat things. They're just like a bunch of teeth and, I think, eyes. I don't know. But, yeah, so that was something. That was pretty cool. And then the kings basically, fucked, and they killed the king's first son, which is the first time you see him this season, instead of just like having him mentioned, which I don't really give two shits about, really. Like, okay, he's dead. Cool. Like, it was cool how like the that one chick, like, I like how they show characters in the background, and they're like, maybe they're always there, mostly always there. I mean, they show off the floor guardians, like, you kind of know all of them by now, but like the maids especially, they'll like show someone in the background, like a maid, and then in the future, they'll appear every once in a while, but then they give them a bit more to do. And that was with that one maid, L something, I think, who's working at the town. And I wish Ainz was a bit more like where he gave a shit about the town, because he's like, whatever, like, I don't care that much. Which, he's like, oh, protect these people. And I like how because it shows like he's not a complete, villain. He hasn't gone full over the deep end with that little girl who comes over to the Great Tomb of Nazareth, and is Nazareth, and is like, oh, this place is awesome. Did you build this? Did you, he's like, oh, I built it with my friends, da 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 da. And then he's like, oh, add someone else to the list of like the 4 people you need to protect from this town. And, like, once again, those are the only people you really care about in the town, but it's also, like, just from, like, a story thing where they're like, oh, we owe Ainz for this, and it's like, bro, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, like, that's somewhere I'm like, oh, that kind of stinks. Like, I don't know. Like, I was just hoping to get involved a little bit more, which he did. Like, he does, and he doesn't completely give up on him or anything, so... But with a lot of this shit, he's kind of like, fend for yourselves, and then he'll come in or send someone in if needed. But yeah, that was something where I was a little disappointed with that. I like the town. I can't remember the fucking guy's name. The potion maker guy. But they did some romance with him and the chief. I'm forgetting her name too, which I was very hopeful for. Like, we're getting that. I don't think we're not getting that much, in considering like with the princess, which I don't know what they're gonna do with the princess, because they tell you, like, she's a freak, whatever, but and she is crazy. But I'm just wondering, like, if she's gonna be a villain or not, like, especially because they make you care about Klein more than her. So it's like, she's all psycho about him, but then Albedo says like, oh, I want to meet her. So it's kind of like, oh, is she the Albedo to Climb's, Ainz? Like, is that kind of what they're going for? Where, they're both psycho, but they're not bad? Like, they won't, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. If you could, something like that. I'm just, that was something I was wondering with that, because they don't really go anywhere with that romance. It's just like, at the end when Brain is like, oh, can you, the king's like, oh, if you get out of here, I'll give you whatever you want. And he's like, okay. The guy's just like, Oh my fucking god! I just said his goddamn name. I can't fucking believe this. Climb. Climb is like, oh, I don't want anything except to keep serving Princess Renner. And then he's like, oh, I want a friend of mine to be able to marry the princess. And he's like, that's a big ask, but maybe. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Um, going with that because they really, I don't know, like I think they went up if they're trying to go for like a yandere thing, like kind of like a oh, but but you still like her. I feel like they went a little far with at the end of last season where they wanted like where she wanted him to die so that they could revive him or like saying he's gonna get chained up and all that. I don't know. Maybe that's just me like overthinking it where I'm like okay that's too far for me to be like okay I like you. Um, like I don't mind Yandere characters. Like I forget, Mirai Nikki or whatever the fuck that the English one is called. That had that Yandere love interest, and that was a really good show. I need to rewatch that. I haven't seen that in years, but that's a way to do it right, where you still care about that character, and you're like, okay, I want them to get together. It's just this show like kind of went. I don't want to say too well, kind of too far with like how psycho she is for me to be like, okay, like but thinking back on it, I mean, she didn't do anything super evil. She did help people and stuff. So I'm not really sure how to feel about her. But yeah, yeah, no. But anyway, so the potion guy and the he confesses to her, which for the most part, uh, like the for the most of the show, you're like, oh, she really doesn't like. You don't know if she feels that way, but usually there's some hints, right? And there was like one scene I think earlier, like this season, before he like says I love you to where she kind of blushes and is like oh I whatever and then it kind of like I get like this is kind of how it could go and I get that but I was a little disappointed when he's like I love you and she's like I like she's not like I think I love you she's like I don't want to lose you basically is like and then it is kind of ended up going down the road where they both do love each other and she kind of says that kind of um but I just prefer the full on and out, like, okay, we love each other, like, and I get that's not how it always goes and everything, especially in the beginning, but they do end up getting together at least, which is something. I mean, I guess they get together. They haven't kissed or anything, but it's like they both confessed, I guess, so they're both kind of doing their own thing. Um, but yeah, so that was cool. I like that there was actual movement in that because usually like the shows it'll just drag on and on and on, and in the anime will either never get finished, so we never get a conclusion, or it'll be right at the end. So, and also they're not the focus. Like I said, they didn't even appear at all last season. So, but it's just something you build that up. You have these smaller characters. You still want them to get this thing. Uh, for I can't remember if the girl from last season, like the Sobos's fiance, girlfriend, whatever, if she even appeared this season. This just hit me too. Like, did she appear? They mentioned her in the first episode where where I'm just giving away these whatever, like giving them a wish for whatever they want for being such good workers, and he's just like, oh, I want to get some clothes for uh the girl. I forget her name and I forget everyone's name, but yeah, get close for the girl. He's like, oh yeah, you can go on a date with her and do that. But I don't think we ever see her this season. Um, we might as like a background maid, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't speak this season at least. So I'm pretty sure about that. But I'm trying to think. Like I'm just now I'm just kind of going back and forth here. I'm interested to see season 4. I know that's the newest season. I don't know if there's a season 5 after that. I read a synopsis for season 4, and that sounds interesting. I don't know. It felt like it gave me a little bit, like not a spoiler, but just felt like it gave me too much information about what happens. Uh, and it doesn't make sense though because I don't know if any of you have seen this on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's YouTube because I don't really watch anything like with ads besides YouTube. Well, I have YouTube Premium now, but anyway, um, where they show that scene of like the Crunchyroll ad where it's Albedo coming out of a carriage and she like, and I think that's basically it. Like it's like a quick kind of thing. It's not an ad for the whole thing of Overlord, but I think, and it said that next season, I guess light spoilers or whatever. It said next season she's gonna be like an ambassador for Ainz in the country because people don't want to trade with them. So to help Iran tell So I think that's what that's from. So I'm kind of excited to see that because I don't want them to completely fear Ainz and like the country and all that, which I like I said, because you know them, but I also get why, like, thinking about it once again logically, it makes sense. Like, this dude is super overpowered, he's undead, he comes from nowhere, you don't know where he's come from, you don't know what he's doing. Um, so it's like kind of insane. But you know, at the end when he has himself like as Maman, basically say, okay, I'll help you lead these people, but if you do anything bad, I'll go against you, to like make him trust him. Well, not trust him, but like go through with it. I thought that that was pretty cool. I just think like something that was stupid, and I get it was done. I guess it was done for kind of just like the shock factor. But like when the kid throws the pebble at the soldier, he's like, "Oh, you bring back my dad, whatever." It's like, first of all, fuck you. Your dad's dead. Um, no, that kid didn't do shit to me. I don't know why I went after his throat like that, but but Albedo's about to kill him and his mother. And then Maman shows up and she says like, "Oh, we're not planning to have any bad laws or whatever. Like, we're not planning to rule by fear, but you wouldn't believe me anyway." It's like, yes, but also like literally about to slice down that woman and child um doesn't help. Like, even if that was part of your plan, like everyone saw that, so it's like not that good of an idea. But I do want to get to the point where they're like, okay, we're if we're under Nazarath, whatever. If we're under there, as long as we basically just do our business, don't go against them, whatever, like, we'll be prosperous. Basically, is kind of what I'm hoping. Like, the end game is, where it's like, because it made it clear. Like, once again, he's not a hero by any means, but he's not a complete villain. Like, he does some fuckery, especially in this season. Like I said with the adventurers, but he's not, like, he says it, like, even I think it was last season where he's like, I don't want to kill people if there's if there's nothing in it for me, like, I don't like buying this bloodshed, basically. So it's like, he doesn't really kill people like that. He doesn't, I mean, the fucking crazy shit he'd be doing, like the torturing and all that shit was kind of crazy. But like I said, he's not a villain. He's just trying to rule, basically. So I'm hoping we eventually get to that point, or more get to that point, where they're just like, okay, I trust, not trust, I don't know, like, where they're just like, okay, we'll follow him, So I hope we get to that point, because when they finally reveal, themselves, and it's like just immediate, like the overpowered, like how overpowered Ainz and his group is fucking crazy. Like, I love that, because once again, like, when you follow an anime with like a super strong character, and then you have like all these other side characters where it's like, oh, if this person just showed up, they'd be able to solve the problem. Something like, Goku on Namek type shit, where they drag that shit out. Or like One Punch Man, they have all those other characters, like, so that, like, it's not just One Punch Man, but it's like, oh, if he was there, he could solve this issue immediately. So it's kind of like showing, like, that even though we haven't seen him do a whole lot, that Ainz is like, as soon as he came out as like, okay, I'm the ruler, I want this country, they're just like, oh shit, we can't do anything to this guy, and they still think they have a chance. Like, at the beginning, I don't know how the fuck they think they're gonna do anything now, but I just thought that was so cool, like, and so, like, just kind of not really relieving. I don't know. It was cool. It was just cool to see that. And like I said, I'm just, I'm excited to see where it goes. I do, like I say, eventually want that whole transition of, like, they don't fear him as much, or they don't think he's gonna be like a huge evil dictator. Not like the rulers and shit. I don't give a shit about them, but I mean, like, the people. Like, some, I don't know, like, I don't think Climb or Brain would ever kind of get behind him because he killed Gazif, but Gazif was fucking asking for it, bro. Like, at the end, it was straight up like, oh, okay, he's gonna... they tease it like that his sword could hurt him, could cut him or whatever. So maybe that's how, like, either Brain's gonna try to use it on him, or, like, someone else. I don't know. But it just seems like like they're kind of passive where it's like, okay, we can be friends now. Not friends, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just love that respect that Kazif had for Ainz, and that was pretty cool. And just seeing him go down like that was a bit of a shame. Like, I would have loved to see him join Ainz. He does have a huge, I don't know, friendship, relationship, loyalty to the king. So you kind of, I like when he said that, I was like, oh, there's no way. But just from the take him out like that, that's a big player from season 1. So he's been in here since then. So it's gonna be interesting to see where they go without him. I'm sure we're just gonna follow Brain and Climb. We'll probably go back to the adventurers. Like I want to see some stuff of like people we saw before, like finding out about this and everything like that. Yeah, so I'm like I said, I'm just interested. I'm kind of jumping around in circles, but I'm actually excited to talk about it. But yeah, they've kind of, it's big now that they've like opened themselves up. Like I don't know if this is like, I don't know how much further they can not go, like where it's like, oh, you have no more stories to tell. But it's like with the world that they've set up, there's only these few countries. Where do we go from here? Because yes, he could take him over by force, and literally if he did, that's the end of the show. Like that's it, we're done. But I mean, I guess the show's not all about him, just taking over the world. It's like him finding players and maybe finding a way out. I don't know. They don't really talk about that, which makes sense. If I was him, bro, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm chilling, but But anyway, so shit's great. Probably watch it, but if you haven't watched it in a while, it's really nice. And these steelbooks are fucking beautiful, man. So if you're a fan of Overlord, I recommend them. They're not super cheap. I'm not sure how much the regular version is compared to the steelbook, but I don't think it's too much more. But if you have the opportunity to get one of these, I get it. It's just a beautiful set and beautiful in the collection. So yeah. Anyway, before I keep going on, that's about it. Peace.